Hi, welcome to offandonstage.com. My name is Michi Thies and I'll be your host today. We are really excited to have as our guest Greg Price. He's a local singer, songwriter, and musician. And through our interview with him, we're hoping to get to know him a little bit better and hear some of his music. So let's get started. Hey Greg, thank you for agreeing to be on our show, offandonstage.com. We are so excited to get to know you a little bit better. So, I think the first question I always ask our guests is, are you from Colorado? Did you grow up here?
No.
No.
I'm a flatlander, like many of the people out here. I was born in Ohio, raised in Illinois, spent a lot of time sort of in between Ohio and Illinois.
Mm-hmm. So is this your home now? You're going to stay here?
Yes, I got out here in '78, so I've been out here quite a while.
And when did you start playing the guitar?
I actually started later than I wished that I started, but I started about 15, 16,
Uh-huh.
and I think it makes a big difference when people start playing an instrument a lot earlier. So I kind of wish I had, but you kind of get to where you are when you get there.
Mm-hmm. And out of all the instruments, you could have chosen like the didgeridoo or the nose flute or whatever. Why did you pick the guitar?
Good question. I'm not sure. Probably because I had a friend who played guitar about the time I started, and it was during the time of the British invasion. You know, the Beatles and Beatles music and surf music was popular, and I think that's sort of what got me into it. Plus the guitar is very portable, and it's not quite like piano.
So, were the Beatles your big inspiration to be a musician?
They were one of them back then.
Who else did you like?
Oh, all of the bands back then, the Kinks, Yardbirds. I saw the Yardbirds live, and many of those bands I saw. Actually, I'm dating myself here, but I saw Hendrix live.
Wow.
Yes. So it was an interesting time.
Where was that at?
That was at the Chicago Opera House. I believe it was 1968. I was pretty young.
Yeah, you were young. Huh. Your mom let you go see Jimi Hendrix?
Yes. I had two older brothers, so it was easy to tag along with them.
Oh, neat. That's great. Well, before we get too far along, I would love you to play a song for us. Something that you wrote.
Something that I wrote?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do a song that I wrote, instrumental. It's a ragtime piece, and it's called Water Street Rag.
Nice. I think you played that at when I first saw you at Tennyson Street Coffee.
It's possible. That's been a song that I haven't played for a long time, and I've recently resurrected it.
Oh.
So,
What's your goal? Where do you see yourself in about 5 years?
rest home. No, I'm just kidding.
At least you're gonna be alive.
Okay. Yeah, right. I've never been so much goal-oriented as I have been process-oriented. And I discussed this with a number of people. There are so many good guitar players out there that, and a lot of them are like, adolescents. It's encouraging, but at the same time, you look at it and you're a little bit frustrated, wishing that maybe you would have started a little bit earlier or continued with it over the years. But, I literally don't have the years left on the planet to get as good as some of these kids are. So my goal is just to keep improving and have fun while I'm doing it. But the main goal is just to keep improving. As long as you're seeing progress being made, then I think it's all right. Mm-hmm. And that's really my goal, just to keep getting better. And if the gigs come, they come.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you been writing your own songs?
I didn't really start writing songs until I picked up the acoustic. And originally I was a rock and roll flat picker. I wrote some songs back then, but not very seriously. But I've been playing guitar a long time, 40-some years, so off and on. There's been years when I didn't pick it up, and I kind of kick myself for that now, but once again, you arrive at where you're at when you get there, and not much more you can do about it.
Yeah. Well, before the interview started, Greg and I were talking about the our day jobs that we held before retiring, and you mentioned that now you have time to concentrate on your music. Mm-hmm. And how are you liking that? How do you like being a musician?
I love it. I love being retired.
Yeah.
I don't miss the grind at all. I miss some of the people that I worked with. That's the main thing that I miss about work. But I'm pretty happy to put my energies into the guitar. Mm-hmm. Like I say, as long as I can see some progress happening, then it's good. And of course, as any art form, you go through the peaks and the valleys, and times when you get frustrated and things like that. But that goes along with any art form, and playing is no different.
What frustrates you? I mean, what are some of those valleys?
Oh, you just don't feel like you're going anywhere, or you're working on an original song, and you just can't quite get the right parts for it. I usually, at any given moment, I've got many pieces of songs lying around that I've come up with something that I thought was really good, and then I just struggle to find something that goes along with it.
Do you ever collaborate writing songs with another musician?
Not usually. I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Oh, really? You have to grow into that?
Well, I don't know. Some people do.
Grow away from that.
Yeah, well, some people do, and I guess some people don't. But I've just always been sort of stuck into my own process, and you discuss it with other artists about how we write. I've talked with Brand Gould quite a bit about writing, and he writes a lot of songs with words, and how you go about doing that. And it seems like everybody does it differently, and sometimes the same person will do it differently for different songs. Mm-hmm. And it's not something I wish I could distill it and bottle it. Mm-hmm. Some songs just come out, and some songs don't.
I have heard some musicians talk about how the Hurricane Katrina down in New Orleans changed the music world in Colorado, because a lot of the displaced musicians moved up here. And, you know, it's already a very saturated music world up here, I think. I think there are a lot of very talented people up here.
There are.
And that made it even more so. Have you seen, you know, the effects of that?
So, you know, I've just recently, you know, over the past few years, gotten back into playing and playing out. And I have noticed there are a lot of good players in Denver. There's a lot of good folks in Denver. And it would make sense, I haven't heard that they were coming up from the south due to Katrina. But that would certainly be an explanation as far as why a lot of people came up here. You know, I do remember in the early days, you know, the subdudes came up here because they supposedly couldn't make it down in New Orleans. And I think they're still playing around. But yeah, there are a lot of good musicians out here. Definitely, a lot of good musicians.
Yeah, here came your ragtime and blues competition.
Right, yeah.
Direct from New Orleans. So can we buy any of your music? Like, how do we buy it?
Well, not yet. I'm still sort of trying to get into this and become a little bit more professional about it. I just got some business cards printed up so I can hand some of those out. I do have a YouTube channel, and you can go there. It's, you know, the www.youtube.com/ and then put in Greg Price Guitar, and that should pull up the channel. Right now I only have 3 songs on that, and I've been hoping for the past 3 months. I've been trying to get some more recording done for that, and I assume it's probably going to happen within the next month or so, just so I can get some more stuff up there. So right now, that's about all the places that you can find my music is on YouTube.
So what the new thing is to sell your music online. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that seems to be where everything's going.
Yeah. Think you'll make? Do you think musicians make more money now than they used to? Because it's easier to go online and purchase?
I don't really know whether they do or not.
That was a hard question. I'm sorry I asked you that.
No, that's all right. I mean, I haven't really thought about it. I've always felt that kind of the music business has always been a rough road. You know, I did it for a while when I was a lot younger in bands, and it's not a fun way to earn a living. It's pretty rough.
It's hard, yeah. Well, speaking of that, why don't we hear another song?
Okay. I think I'll do a blues tune that I wrote. This has an introduction that was written by Sean McGowan, phenomenal guitar player, and used with his permission. And it eventually works its way around into the blues tune, and it's called Going Through the Motions. same old, close to the path I keep day in, day out. It's petty pace, it creeps, months go by. You feel the rising of that ocean, and it's the same old story each time, going through the motions. I play that music, it's like a brand new toy, rode past midnight. This used to bring me joy, not so now. There's dark intent with nightly notions, and it's the same old story each time, going through the motions. I drag myself up and out that door each day, all those years in, for what I can't say, no net change, no matter how I work that quotient. And it's the same old story each time, going through the motions. Well, we loved in halftime. I didn't ask for more, note by measure. We never changed the score, just reprise as we legato toward implosion. And it's the same old story each time, going through the motions. And it's the same old story each time, going through the motions.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? Time to do that unabashed plug for where you're playing next with our good friends Jane Nanley and Joe Kellogg.
Okay.
Tell the viewers where you're playing.
That's at the Oriental Opry. That's on Tuesday, June 10th. I believe it starts about 7 o'clock, 7:30, somewhere around there. And the Old Oriental Theater is right by the corner of 44th and Tennyson. It's on 44th, just a little bit east of Tennyson Street. And it showcases, I was there the last time, and it was the first time I'd been there. And what a nice thing. I mean, it showcases a lot of different artists, usually about 5 or 6 people are playing that night. We each get about, 20, 25 minutes. And of course, that's about the time you start warming up, is after about 20 minutes. But it's a great thing to do because it showcases a lot of Denver music. So.
Great. Yeah. So everybody go out and support Greg and Jane and Joe and all the other musicians playing that night. You won't be disappointed. It's pretty amazing what the people that they find. to play their show.
I was impressed.
So it's
Yeah,
fun
there's
too.
some good folks that were playing there
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah, it's great. Well, you know what? Is there anything else you want our listeners to know about you?
Oh.
Don't talk about your sex change.
No,
We'll
I'll skip that,
save
'cause
that for the next interview.
I am touchy about that still.
Okay.
But no, really, you just if you hear that I'm playing somewhere, come by and support us. Either myself or sometimes I'll split the gigs with Brand Gould. We'll do a sort of a tag team thing where we'll each alternate 30-minute sets. And with Brand, it's mostly original music. I do a mixture, probably about 50-50, and it's Stella's one of the mainstays. I usually play Stella's every month. 10th Street Coffee, which is right up by the Oriental there. We play there. We're trying to shoot there for about once a month. Highlands Cork and Coffee, whenever they get back to us and try to book something, because they're notorious for not doing that. But
Sean and Angie are great. I love them. Well, you said if people hear about you playing, how are they going to hear that? How can they find out? Do you have a web page or Reverb Nation or
I
something?
do not yet.
Oh my
I do
gosh.
have an email list
Okay.
that I bring along with gigs.
Okay.
So if somebody comes to one of the gigs, let me know, and I'll certainly put you on the email list.
Okay.
And
people can also write to our show and let me know that they would like to know where Greg's playing, and I will pass your information along.
a lot of the places will list it on their websites.
Yes.
Stella's has been pretty bad about not getting things listed on their websites, but we also play, I'll put a plug in for Patrick and Gwen down at the Java Jam, which is in Inglewood right across from Swedish. And they've got a great thing going there. We play there, usually it's a tag team gig with Brand Gould and myself. And they always list who's playing there. They've got a Facebook page, and they're a great source. So, and a great place too. So Java Jam is definitely a place you should check out, because it runs great music most of the time.
Okay, great. Well, Greg, I thank you so much for being on our show today. Again, you're playing at the Oriental Theater at the Oriental Opry on June 10th.
June 10th.
Next Tuesday night.
Next Tuesday.
And if you want to get on Greg's email list, let me know and I'll pass the information along. How about if we go out with a bang and you can play another song? And
Okay.
again, thank you so much for being on the
thank
show.
you. This is an
It
honor.
was fun. It's
So,
fun.
okay, I'll play another tune that I wrote, so we avoid any copyright problems. This is a song I originally wrote for a friend of mine, student film, a long time ago, and when I was done with it, I had to come up with a title for it, so I reached deep down inside and entitled it Film Song.